Have you ever noticed how some people shut down completely when they're hurt? They don't yell. They don't cry. They just disappear into silence. Today, we are diving into the psychology behind emotional withdrawal and why understanding it might change your relationships forever. When someone experiences emotional pain, their brain activates the same regions that process physical pain. For some people, their natural response isn't to express, it's to protect. Silence becomes a shield. Here's what's happening beneath the surface. First, they're overwhelmed. The emotional intensity is so strong that words feel impossible. Second, they fear making it worse. Speaking might escalate conflict or expose vulnerability they're not ready to show. Third, they're testing. Unconsciously, they're seeing if you'll pursue them or abandon them in their withdrawal. This behavior often traces back to attachment styles formed in childhood. People with avoidant attachment learned early that expressing needs led to disappointment or rejection. Maybe their emotions were dismissed. Maybe vulnerability was punished. So they adapted. They learned to handle pain alone. Research shows that about 25% of adults have an avoidant attachment style. These individuals often minimize their emotional needs, prize independence above connection, withdraw when relationships feel too intimate. It's not manipulation. It's a survival strategy that outlived its usefulness. Our childhood experiences literally wire our emotional responses. Consider these patterns. If a child's distress was met with anger, they learn, my emotions are dangerous. If it was met with dismissal, they learn, my feelings don't matter. If it was met with inconsistency, they learn, I can't trust others with my pain. These aren't conscious decisions. They're neural pathways carved by repetition. By age 7, most of our emotional regulation strategies are already established. The child who learned to cry silently in their room becomes the adult who suffers in silence in their relationship. How do you know someone is silently struggling? Watch for these signs. 1. Sudden emotional distance. They're physically present but emotionally absent. 2. Overfunctioning in other areas. They throw themselves into work, hobbies, or helping others to avoid feeling. 3. Physical symptoms, headaches, fatigue, or illness with no clear cause. The body keeps the score when words won't. 4. Forced positivity. They insist everything's fine with an intensity that feels off. 5. Changed patterns, less communication, cancelled plans, withdrawn from activities they once enjoyed. Remember, silence doesn't always look like quiet. Sometimes it looks like noise, constant distraction to avoid the inner void. If someone you care about has withdrawn, here's what actually helps. Don't chase aggressively. Pursuing too hard activates their defense mechanisms even more. Give space, but stay connected. Validate without forcing. Try, I notice you seem distant. I'm here when you're ready. No pressure. Model healthy expression. Share your own feelings appropriately. It shows emotions are safe. Respect their timeline. Healing isn't linear. Some people need days, others need weeks to process. Avoid these phrases. Just talk to me. You're overreacting. Or why are you being like this? These shut down communication rather than open it. Do this instead. Offer consistent, low-pressure presence. Sometimes a text saying thinking of you does more than an interrogation. Want to create relationships where silence doesn't have to be the default? Try these strategies. Establish emotional check-ins. Make it routine to ask, how are you feeling? Not just how was your day? Create safety through consistency. Show up reliably. Trust is built in small moments, not grand gestures. Practice repair. After conflicts, circle back. I want to understand your perspective better. Educate yourself on attachment. Understanding why people respond differently removes judgment and creates compassion. Seek professional support together. Therapy isn't for broken relationships. It's for relationships that want to grow. Remember, you can't force someone to open up, but you can create conditions where opening up feels safer than staying closed. Emotional silence isn't weakness, it's a language. And like any language, it can be learned, understood, and ultimately transformed. The question is, Are you willing to listen?